Joey stirred as the chill touched her skin. She blinked and immediately turned toward the ICU window. Larry was still there, still unconscious. Without hesitation, she took her pen and notebook and resumed solving math problems. Tomorrow was her midterm exam. Mrs. Perez had told her she could still take it as a take-home version if she wanted to catch up. "I can't stop now," she whispered, "even in the hospital. I have to keep going for Dad." On the corner of the page, she wrote, "For the man who would sell everything just to pay for my dreams." Dr. Mendes returned to her side. "You're a hard-working kid," he said kindly. Joey looked up, a little shy. "I have to be. I've got exams I want to pass." "What do you want to be when you grow up?" he asked. "A doctor." He paused. "Why?" "My dad," she answered. "I want to heal him someday. I want him to be my first patient, and I want to help kids like me who can't afford medicine, but still dare to dream." Dr. Mendes stood silent. Something stirred deep in him, something he hadn't felt in years. He pointed to his hospital ID. "My name is Mateo Mendes. I'm the chairman of this hospital. I have no kids, no family, but today I feel like I'd like to adopt a smart, kind-hearted kid." Joey's eyes widened. "Starting tomorrow, I'm covering your dad's medicine, and if you're willing, I'll help you finish school. The hospital has a scholarship fund. You can be a Mendes Foundation scholar." Joey couldn't speak. Tears welled up in her eyes. "Is that really true?" "It's true," he said, "but on one condition." "Anything," she said quickly. "You never give up, no matter how hard, no matter how painful." Joey nodded firmly. "I'll endure anything, sir. I promise." Later that day, she returned to the ICU doors holding a small tray, hot rice porridge, a boiled egg, and a box of milk from the hospital canteen, courtesy of Dr. Mendes. Simple, but enough to help her keep going. As she ate, she peeked again at Larry, still unconscious, still fighting. But this time, instead of fear, she felt strength. "We're almost there, Dad," she whispered. "We're almost out of the dark." She picked up her pencil and began sketching in the back of her notebook. A drawing of a hospital, a young girl with a stethoscope, an old man smiling, and a snow cone cart beside them. Beside the sketch, she wrote, "From snow cones to dreams." "Thank you, Dad." That night, as Joey dozed off in the hallway, Dr. Mendes passed by again. He watched this young student studying while standing guard at the ICU. A daughter who never let go. A child who chose to fight instead of complain. He whispered to himself, "One day you'll be a doctor, and I'll be the first to stand and applaud you." Years rolled by. A gleaming glass hospital now rose in the heart of the city. Mendes Medical Center. Inside, nurses and residents bustled through spotless halls. On the top floor walked a tall woman in a crisp white coat, ponytailed hair swaying, ID badge catching the morning light. Dr. Joanna Joey D. Carter, Internal Medicine and General Surgery. She greeted each staff member warmly. A mother approached with her young son, eyes red from worry. "Doctor, thank you. If not for you, my boy might not be here," the mother said, voice trembling. Joey took her hand. "We only did our duty. You're the real hero. You never gave up on him." Just then, a nurse hurried over. "Doctor, the board meeting is about to start." "I'll be right there," Joey replied. Before entering, she paused and glanced down the corridor, the same spot where years ago she'd slept on a hard bench, waiting for her father to wake. Now she was the one saving lives, the one people looked up to. In the spacious conference room sat Dr. Matthew Mendes, retired now, but still revered. Beside him, Joey took her seat as administrators and new interns looked on. "Everyone," Dr. Mendes began, "it's my honor to introduce the person who will carry on the mission of the Mendes Foundation and this hospital. Dr. Joanna D. Carter, once a child sleeping outside our ICU, now a respected physician." Applause filled the room. Joey stood and bowed slightly. "I love this place," she began, voice steady. "Not only because it saved my father's life, but because here I learned to cherish pain, sacrifice, and hope. She swallowed, emotion rising. There were days my stomach was empty, but my dreams were full. When I nearly gave up, God lifted me through people who believed in me. Now it's my turn to give back. Tears shimmered but did not fall. These were tears of triumph. After the meeting, Joey drove to a modest yet cheerful house with a small garden out front. On the porch sat Larry Carter, hair now pepper gray, leaning on a cane yet tending to his plants with a smile. "Dad," Joey called. Larry turned, joy lighting his face. They embraced tightly. "How was the checkup?" Joey asked. "Strong as an ox," Larry chuckled. "You'd better take care of yourself. You work harder than I do." They laughed and walked inside. On a shelf rested Joey's childhood photo with a medal next to Larry's old blue jacket bearing the name Larry. "I'll never throw this away," Joey said, gently brushing the fabric. "It reminds me where we started." "Thank you, Dad. You thought snow cones were all you could give me, but you gave me the warmth that saved my life." Larry shook his head. "No, sweetheart. Without you, none of this would exist. You're my foundation." Silence settled. Only their heartbeats filling the room, strong and steady. That evening, as Joey reviewed medical journals in her study, her phone rang from the hospital. "Doctor, emergency case, female, 2 tumors. We need an urgent operation." "I'm on my way," Joey said. She glanced at the chart the nurse had texted. Patient name, Monica Ramirez Donovan. Cold ran through her veins. Her mother, the woman who disowned her, once again in her care. Joey set the phone down, faced the mirror, and saw not the fragile child of years past, but a seasoned surgeon ready to save a life. She tightened her coat. "Tonight I'll save the woman who once refused to save us, not for revenge, but to show who I have become." With the steady rhythm of her stethoscope at her chest, she strode toward the operating room, carrying every tear, every sacrifice, every ounce of love forged from a snow cone cart into the bright light of healing. For over a decade, Monica Ramirez Donovan had been the queen of charity galas and society events. Always in the headlines, always photographed with pearl necklaces and flawless makeup, hiding any trace of her past until everything collapsed. Breaking news: former Senator Arthur Donovan sentenced to 25 years in prison for plunder, bribery, and money laundering. All family assets were frozen. For luxury condos, 2 private vehicles, and 3 offshore accounts seized. Monica, named as an accessory to fraud, disappeared from public view. Her former friends stopped answering her calls. Her children from her second family spiraled. One joined a cult, another crashed in a motorcycle accident, and one began selling explicit content online. Monica was left alone, living in a rundown apartment while authorities seized the mansion. Wearing pajamas, no makeup, she stared blankly at a cracked TV that only worked when smacked. Her phone rang. Caller, Attorney Hermano, Public Defender's Office. "Mrs. Donovan," the voice said. "You're scheduled for a medical checkup at Mendes Medical Center. It's covered by a public assistance voucher. No cost to you." Monica frowned. "Mendes?" "Yes, ma'am. They have a program for low-income seniors. We've already submitted the referral." "Isn't there anywhere else I can go?" she asked suspiciously. "Not at this time, ma'am. If you want to know why you've been feeling short of breath, you'll need to go." After the call, Monica looked into the mirror. The woman, once bathed in gold light, now looked pale and hollow, barely recognizing her own face. She dropped to her knees on the floor, clutching her chest. "Why me? Why like this?" she sobbed. At Mendes Medical Center, Monica sat alone in the charity wing. Her shoes were worn, her handbag frayed, her once elegant coat now clashing with her faded reputation. No assistant, no driver, only her. After some time, a nurse called her name. "Mrs. Monica Ramirez Donovan." She stood slowly, trying to steady her walk despite the weakness in her knees. The nurse guided her to pre-op assessment. As they inserted in foreign sorted paperwork, the nurse explained, "This will be a major surgery, ma'am. There's a tumor near your lung. We have to remove it immediately." There are risks, but a surgeon has already been assigned. Who? Monica asked, her voice barely audible. One moment, let me check, the nurse replied. Minutes later, she returned. Your surgeon is Dr. Joanna D. Carter. Monica's entire body went cold, like a ghost had passed through her. What's the name again? She asked, shaking. Dr. Joanna D. Carter, ma'am. She's the head surgeon of the hospital. Monica felt like she had fallen off a cliff. She looked at the mirror on the wall, and the face that stared back was the same child she'd once left behind. Now grown, now holding a scalpel. She wanted to run, wanted to rewind the past, but it was too late. Moments later, someone knocked on the door. We're ready for the OR, ma'am, said the nurse. As they wheeled her out, Monica closed her eyes. In her mind, she whispered, God, if she really is my daughter, please, please let her forgive me. Outside the operating room, the medical team was ready, sterile instruments in place, monitors humming softly. At the front stood a woman in full surgical gown, face shield, gloves, and cap in place. Behind the mask, her eyes were calm, focused, and determined. Dr. Joanna D. Carter. She reviewed the patient chart one last time. She saw the name. She didn't flinch. She didn't hesitate. She simply tightened the strap on her gloves. Scalpel, she ordered. Vitals stable, doctor, the nurse reported. In silence, Joey made each incision with steady precision, each stitch, each tube, each monitored beep on the screen. She thought of only one thing, saving this life. Not the pain, not the rejection, not the woman's cruelty. There was no revenge in her hands, only skill, only duty, only healing. Hours passed. The surgery ended, successful. In the recovery room, Monica slowly opened her eyes. She reached for the envelope of her discharge documents. On the top was stamped, charity patient, fully covered. At the bottom, attending surgeon, Dr. Joanna D. Carter. Monica didn't cry. She sobbed. Not because of the pain, but because the daughter she denied had just saved her life. Monica Ramirez Donovan, once a staple in glossy magazines, once the image of the perfect senator's wife with a golden heart, was now a name in scandalous news. Breaking news, Senator Arthur Donovan convicted. 25 years in prison for plunder and graft. Over $3 million stolen in public funds. Monica, charged as an accessory, vanished from media coverage. Her children from her second family fell apart. Arvin, the eldest, was arrested in a drug bust. He refused to take Monica's calls from jail. Mika, the second, got pregnant at 18. She ran away with her boyfriend to the countryside. Never texted Monica again. Jerome, the youngest, was expelled for stealing exam papers. Where are you? Monica asked the empty family group chat on her cracked phone screen. No one replied. She once had everything, family, wealth, power, a name. Now she had none of it. One afternoon, she walked home carrying a bag of instant coffee and half a loaf of bread. Suddenly, she clutched her chest. Pain shot through her ribs. She tried to steady herself on a lamppost. Water, please. A woman nearby rushed over. Ma'am, are you okay? I can't breathe. Someone called the nearest public health office. They referred her back to the only place still accepting indigent patients, Mendes Medical Center. That evening, Monica sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the referral envelope, tears running down her cheeks. For all the power I had, why is this how it ends? No one heard her. There was no audience now. No pearls, no press, only her name, now a burden, and the guilt she could no longer ignore. A week after receiving her referral, Monica returned to Mendes Medical Center. In the charity wing, she looked nothing like her former self. Her cardigan was old, her eyes tired. She kept her head down as she waited for her name to be called. Mrs. Monica Ramirez Donovan, a nurse finally said. She stood slowly and followed to the pre-op room. You have a tumor in your right lung, the doctor explained. It hasn't spread yet, but we need to operate soon. There are still risks, but it's good we caught it early. How serious is it? Monica asked, her voice weak. There are complications, the nurse added. But you're scheduled for surgery tomorrow morning, and good news, a senior surgeon will be operating. How much will this cost? She asked quickly. You're fully covered as a charity case, the nurse replied. Everything is free. Monica was stunned. Free? After all her years of pride, this was the first time someone offered care without asking for anything in return. Thank you, she whispered. The next morning, lying on the operating table, Monica felt her body tremble. Not just from the cold, but from fear. If this were her last breath, would her daughter ever forgive her? While the nurses prepared the four, one reviewed the patient chart aloud. Okay, ma'am, your surgeon is Dr. Joanna D. Carter. Monica almost dropped the oxygen mask from her hand. What? What did you say? She stammered. Dr. Carter. Ma'am, one of our most experienced charity surgeons. She's one of our best. Monica froze. The name was unmistakable. That's Larry's daughter, she whispered to herself. No, it can't be her. Ma'am, please relax. The doctor will be here shortly. The door opened. A woman stepped in wearing a surgical gown, mask, and cap. Her posture was confident, authoritative. Monica couldn't see the full face, but when the doctor spoke, the room turned ice cold in her chest. Vitals stable, doctor. Scalpel. The procedure began, and as each movement of the surgeon's hand saved her life, Monica wept silently, not from physical pain, but from the unbearable weight of recognition. After the operation, Monica was moved to the recovery room. She was still groggy from the anesthesia, her body weak. Beside her bed was a folder, her billing statement, discharge instructions, and a sealed envelope. She slowly opened it. At the top of the statement, total due, 0. Remarks, fully covered by Mendes Medical Foundation. Attending surgeon, Dr. Joanna D. Carter. She covered her mouth with both hands. No words came out. Tears spilled over. The child she rejected, the girl she had denied at a restaurant, had saved her life without a word, without asking for anything. No accusations, no confrontation, just quiet, complete mercy. She noticed one more thing tucked in the folder. A small note handwritten on hospital paper: healing doesn't happen in hospitals. It happens in the heart. Dr. J.C. It was only one line, but it shattered every wall Monica had built. For the first time, not because of status, not because of wealth, she whispered through sobs, "I'm sorry, my child." She had no idea if her daughter would ever hear it. But in her chest, for the first time in years, she felt a crack of light enter the darkness. Sunday morning. Inside the small chapel of Mendes Medical Center, the air was still. Sunlight streamed through the stained glass window, casting colors on the altar. The only sound was the gentle buzz of an old electric fan. In the last pew sat Monica, head bowed, hands clutching a rosary. Her fingers trembled. She had been discharged 2 days earlier, but hadn't left the hospital. Something inside kept her from going. For 2 nights and days, she hadn't found peace, not from surgery wounds, but from the wound of conscience. What if she never forgives me? What if I never get the chance to say sorry? As she knelt, she prayed silently. Lord, I can't keep hiding. If this is my last chance, please bring her to me. Even just for a moment, even if she won't forgive me, I just want to say I'm sorry. The chapel doors creaked open. Each footstep echoed down the aisle. Light from the hallway spilled in, illuminating the figure of a tall woman in a white coat, stethoscope around her neck. Dr. Joanna D. Carter. She walked down the aisle as if heading straight for the front, but midway her eyes caught sight of someone. A woman at the end of the pew, kneeling, crying, searching. Their eyes met. Joey froze. Monica turned and gasped softly. Joey? No reply. Joey stood still in the center of the aisle. Monica slowly rose to her feet. Her steps were unsure, like every movement carried years of regret. When she reached her daughter, she paused. "I'm sorry, my child," she whispered. Joey didn't speak. She looked at the woman before her. Not the glamorous socialite from TV, but a broken mother stripped of pride. "You denied me once," Joey said, voice calm, "in front of everyone. You said I wasn't your daughter. For years, I believed I had no worth." Tears streamed down Monica's face. I know. And every day since, I've regretted it." Joey continued, "But I never chose revenge. I never wished you harm because even when you left, Dad never let go." Silence. Then Joey added, "And now here you are, asking for forgiveness." She stared into Monica's eyes and saw not the past, but a woman who once had dreams, too. In that moment, Joey stepped forward and embraced her, tight, warm, real. Monica broke down in her arms. "Thank you. Thank you for this chance." Joey whispered, "I can't give back the years, but I can return something even more important." "What?" Monica asked, voice shaking. "The right to call me your daughter." They stood there holding each other. From the corner of the chapel, a nun passing by paused. She made the sign of the cross and smiled quietly. This place, once home to mourning and quiet pleas, had become witness to a first embrace between a mother and daughter who almost never met again. Joey wiped her mother's tears. "Rest now, Mom. You need your strength." Weeks passed. Monica's condition gradually improved. At Joey's modest home, Monica was able to walk around the garden, eat small portions, and breathe more easily. Each morning, she stood outside with her daughter, taking in fresh air and doing light breathing exercises. Joey guided her through. But amid these peaceful days, something returned. A shadow that had only hidden for a while. One evening, as Joey handed Monica her medication, she noticed her mother looked paler than usual, her gaze unfocused, her cough tinged with red. She was unsteady on her feet. "Mom," Joey asked, brows furrowed. "Are you feeling anything unusual?" Monica waved her off. "Oh, it's nothing, honey. Maybe just the cold night air." But Joey wasn't convinced. The next day, she took Monica to the hospital for a follow-up. After the checkup, a fellow doctor pulled Joey aside in the hallway. "Joey," he said quietly, "the cancer markers are back. This time, they're more aggressive. It's metastasized." Joey's knees weakened. "What? What does that mean?" "A long battle if you want to fight it, but realistically, we're looking at a few weeks, maybe a month." It was like being suffocated. Just when things were healing, just when we were becoming a family again. That night, back home, they ate dinner in silence. Joey tried to smile, tried to share happy updates about patients who recovered, about a scholarship she'd helped approve. But Monica stared quietly, eyes distant. "Joey," she said, voice soft. "If ever I don't make it, will you be okay?" Joey looked up immediately, tears rushing in. "Mom, please don't say that. I'm not giving up." Monica said quickly, "But I want you to know, even if I wasn't a good mother, the best thing I ever did was bring you into this world." Joey stood and hugged her tight, as if holding her mother's strength inside her arms. No more apologies were needed. The silence that followed was no longer empty. It was full of understanding and love. It was Sunday. Joey rose early and prepared Monica's breakfast, soft oatmeal, warm water with honey, and a sliced banana. But when she entered her mother's room, the bed was already made. The window curtains swayed lightly with the breeze. The morning sun peeked in. On the desk was a neatly folded letter. Joey approached slowly. She picked it up, recognized the handwriting immediately. "My dearest Joey, I woke up before you today, not because I couldn't sleep, but because I finally slept in peace. I dreamed of your father. He was young again, pushing his snow cone cart, waving at me from a corner. I waved back. We didn't speak, but he smiled, and that was enough. I want you to know I'm not afraid anymore. You gave me that courage. Thank you for calling me Mom again. For showing me mercy I didn't deserve. For healing more than my body. you healed my soul. When my time comes, and it may be soon, don't grieve for too long. Instead, tell our story so other daughters may forgive, so other mothers may return. I love you more than I ever said. Monica, your mother. Joey held the letter to her chest, eyes closed. She turned to the bed, still untouched. On the nightstand, beside Monica's favorite scarf, sat her rosary, carefully wrapped around a photo. The photo was old, worn, edges curled. A young Monica, a young Larry, and a tiny girl between them, barely walking, her smile wide, arms outstretched, the only photo they ever had together. Joey placed the letter beside it, sat quietly, no sobs, only silence, and a peace that filled the room like the warmth of sunlight after a long cold night. A year later, at the Mendes Medical Center auditorium, chairs filled quickly as students, nurses, and guests took their seats. A banner stretched across the stage, Hope Beyond Healing, Stories from the Heart. Guest speaker, Dr. Joanna D. Carter. Backstage, Joey adjusted the microphone on her blouse. She looked into the mirror one last time, her white coat clean and pressed, her stethoscope engraved with her name, her eyes calm, steady. She stepped onto the stage. Applause greeted her, but she didn't wave or bow. She simply smiled and began. I was once a girl who ate rice with dried fish under a tree, who was laughed at for not having a mother, who walked to school with holes in her shoes and dreams too heavy to carry alone. But I also had a father who gave up everything so I could go on one field trip. I had a teacher who believed in me, a stranger who covered my tuition, and a mother who came back when it mattered most. The room fell into silence. Even those who didn't know her leaned in. I stand before you not because I'm the best doctor, but because I am proof that pain doesn't have to end you. It can shape you. That rejection doesn't have to make you bitter. It can make you better. And that love, real love, can return even after years of silence. She paused, then raised a photo for all to see. It was the same old picture, Monica, Larry, and a tiny Joey between them. This is my family. Not perfect, but real. Applause erupted. Not loud with noise, but loud with meaning. Tears were shed. Smiles exchanged. Joey stepped down from the stage, walking past rows of young people holding notebooks and dreams. In her pocket was a note she kept always, the last letter from her mother. And on her desk at work, a snow cone cart replica sat beside her stethoscope. Years later, inside the children's ward of Mendes Medical Center, a girl lay on a hospital bed, skinny, pale, with eyes too tired for her age. Her mother sat nearby, trying to hide her worry. Dr. Joanna D. Carter entered the room with a warm smile. Hi, sweetheart, she said, kneeling beside the girl. I heard you've been very brave. The girl nodded slowly. I brought something, Joey said, pulling out a small cup with shaved ice and syrup. It's just like what my dad used to sell, she said gently. I called it magic ice. When I was little, it made me feel better. Want to try? The girl nodded, smiling weakly. As she took a bite, her face lit up. Joey turned to the mother. She'll be okay. We're not just treating the illness. We're treating the heart. Outside the ward, Joey walked down the hallway, pausing beside the charity board. Names were engraved on plaques: Dr. Mateo Mendes, founder; Larry Carter, Legacy of Love; Monica Art Donovan, Redemption and Return. Joey touched each name, closed her eyes, then walked on, coat swaying, steps steady. She passed by the tree outside the hospital courtyard, the same kind she once sat beneath to eat her lunch. Now other kids sat there laughing, chewing on sandwiches, some eating dried fish, others nothing at all. She stopped, pulled out her wallet, and handed a cafeteria worker a few bills. Make sure all the kids eat today, she said. No one should be hungry under a tree. And with that, she walked on. The girl once left behind was now the woman who stayed. The child once denied was now the doctor who healed. And the name once erased was now the name written on lives she quietly saved every single day. Thanks for watching. It's Mr. Hope here again from Dark Voices. Until we meet again, stay safe.